Duncan's ready to go. Okay, in that case, we'll go straight over to Duncan.
Cheers, Jim. I'm currently sharing my... There we go. So I'm just going to talk a bit about this idea of like personal data online. We all hear about it, but what does it actually mean? And how can we like actually have privacy? So I'm sure we've all seen these kind of like notices. They pop up everywhere. You know, cookies. Do you agree to this? Do you agree to that? You know, sign your life away. And you know, sometimes, to be honest, it is just quicker to say, you know what, I'm going to accept this just so I can get straight to the website that I want to look at. And anyway, who has time to read like a 10-page privacy policy? It's much quicker to just accept and take the consequences they come. But what actually is collected? So just an example, here's a few things that Facebook collects about you, about your data. So, you know, nothing too weird at the moment, just the usual sorts of things. Where are you? How old you are? What sort of education have you got? But we then sort of get into something a little bit, well, it gets a little bit weird, just to say the least. Some very specific things. So, you know, users who are friends with someone who has an anniversary. That's very specific. Users who use coupons. Mothers divided by type. Now that is a weird one. And also users who might be receptive to offers. So why is this sort of information collected? So first of all, it's meant to be for tailored advertising. So, you know, everyone's seen them. Products recommended for you based off your interests. It's a very sort of common site. Not always accurate. Sometimes we just get things advertised to us that we've already bought. But it's easy to see why it might be like accepted for them to like want to know about you in order to have more appropriate advertising. However, there are some slightly more ethical issues with this kind of thing. I'm sure we've all heard of Cambridge Analytica. There was a big story on that a few years ago. Now, Cambridge Analytica made use of, well, this is a very sort of simple breakdown, but they made use of a Facebook quiz to collect data from people who took the quiz. However, not only that, but they managed to get data from friends of the user, friends of the person who took the quiz, which is really quite worrying, to say the least. This was all without their knowledge. And this data was then used to sort of tailor ads to people in order to influence an election. So, sort of speaks for itself, really. But yeah, so I suppose, is there anything we could do about that? Unfortunately, just by sort of signing up for a website like Facebook or any sort of social media, you're sort of agreeing to let them know all about you. That's kind of just something you've got to accept. unless you just flat out deleted your social media, which in this day and age is not the easiest thing. There are some other things you could do. You could look at your ad settings, and when you're asked for permission with like your cookies and things like that, there's usually an option to just sort of opt out of this sort of personalized data gathering, to opt out of these sort of like advertising cookies. And then if you want to go all the way, you can make use of VPNs to hide your location. There's all sorts of browser extensions you can use to protect your privacy. But yeah, so this issue is an ongoing one. Some people are more bothered by it by others, but personally, I find I try and balance it. I like using social media. I like connecting with my friends online. But there are steps you can take to protect yourself, protect your data if you're not comfortable with that. And I think these are some sort of useful links for anyone interested. You can sort of see which companies are collecting your data. You can then opt out if you wish. If you've got ad personalization set up on your Google account, the second link is quite interesting actually. If it's set up, you can see exactly what they think they know about you. Sometimes it's bang on, sometimes it's really wrong, but it can be very interesting. And finally, there's a link at the bottom for a site that sort of makes it easy to opt out if you should so wish. So I think that's it really from me. Bit of a short one, but is there any questions?